Welcome to this workshop, Prāṇa Smaraṇam. Smaraṇam means contemplation or remembrance. This workshop, presented in two parts, is an opportunity to revisit, remember and contemplate the basics of Pranayama, laying the foundation for a regular practice with the goal of mastering the breath. This is the first part where we will cover the fundamentals and work on building our Pranayama practice. In part 2, we will dive deeper, mastering the breath and understanding how to adapt the practice based on specific goals. For those who are new to my channel, I am Geetha Kanthasamy, and this channel Yogic Lens is dedicated to exploring yogic philosophy, principles and the science behind yoga. You will find several videos here on various pranayama practice, the theory behind them, and how we can benefit out of all these, and also the physical and mental well-being. However, this workshop will be a practice-based class where I will keep the theory brief and focus on practical techniques, making this hour an opportunity to fine-tune your pranayama skills and initiate a regular practice. The second part of this workshop, we will cover the nuances of how pranayama can be practiced to achieve specific desired results in your body. If you have any questions, please post them in the comment section below and I will answer them towards end of the workshop. Now let's get started. Let me share my screen. Now let us start with understanding what is prana and how the prana runs in our body. Prana is a vital energy that runs in our body. It takes channels such as nadis which runs throughout your body. If you dissect your body, will you be able to see that prana? No, you will not be able to see because the prana runs on your subtler system. Hope you are all able to see my screen here. Now let us consider the etymology of the term pranayama. Prana means vital energy and yama means to control. So when you are actually controlling the breath in a particular fashion, then it becomes pranayama. We normally breathe 24/7, right? But then those are not called pranayama. But when you are breathing, say for example 3 seconds for inhalation and then 5 seconds for exhalation, then it becomes a controlled pattern, then it is called as pranayama. So we can actually look at this in a different angle. Pranayama. Ayama means to lengthen, where we will lengthen our breath in order to achieve a certain results in the body. Now the question is, why do we have to lengthen our breath? What happens when you lengthen the breath? There are several benefits that comes into play when you lengthen the breath. The first and foremost is your longevity. The longevity improves when you are having slow number of breaths. Assuming someone tells you that you have to for example a doctor addresses a patient who's having a particular issue and then he says that you have only finite number of breaths before you actually die. What will you do? He will be doing slow breaths, right? He will not be doing very fast breath. This is very evident from actually the animals. When you take the animals such as mice, they breathe about 80 to 100 breaths per minute and they live about 2 to 3 years. On the other hand, if you take cows, a healthy cow, they will take about 20 to 30 breaths per minute and live about 12 to 15 years. I'm talking about the healthy cows, not the cows that are in the dairy farm. They live only about 5 years. On the other hand, human, they take about 15 breaths, 12 to 15 breaths per minute and then they live about 80 to 85 years. On the other hand, if you take animals like tortoise, some of the species live about 150 to 200 years. They actually take very slow breath, something 4 to 5 breaths. So it's very apparent that the longevity is dependent on the number of breaths we take. Slower the breath, longer the longevity. It not only actually gives our heart a good condition, but also calms our nervous system. let us understand like certain pranayama techniques to lengthen this breath. Most of the pranayama techniques in the ancient Hatha Yoga Pratipika and other Hatha Yoga texts, they actually talk about how to lengthen the breath. These are all just techniques in which you can utilize to lengthen the breath. Now, before going into the several pranayama practice, we are going to be talking about 4 important pranayama practice. Before that, I would want you to understand the basic foundation of the pranayama, which is nothing but yogic breathing. Yogic breathing is something where you involve 100% breathing, where you involve your breath up to your diaphragm. So for that, we are going to have a practice now. All of you get into comfort posture. Place one palm on your chest and one palm on your abdomen. Now observe your breath. Inhale deeply. Nice long exhalation. One more inhale. Deep exhale. Relax. Now we are going to repeat this exercise again, but this time you are going to observe your abdomen. So I want you to notice if your abdomen is coming out during inhalation or it is going in. So again, let's repeat this. Inhale deeply. Exhale. Continue this 3 more rounds. I'm going to ask this question in the poll. So where you will answer in real, how exactly you felt. Let me share my screen. Yeah. Keep doing. Keep long inhalation, deep exhalation, and keep observing during the inhalation did the abdomen is going in or it is coming out. I'm going to create this poll here with this question. You can all answer the poll in the question here. It will take some time for you to receive the poll. You can actually answer it there. Keep doing. Inhale deeply. Abdomen comes out. Exhale completely. Again, deep inhalation. Deep exhalation. Keep your body in a relaxed state so that you will be able to observe it. The slower and deeper you will be able to relax better, so that you can observe how your body is reacting to this. Couple of more breaths. Couple of more breaths. Hope you have all voted what is your answer. Now let us try to understand this better. It will take some time for you to for me to receive your answer. Before that, let us understand what is this yogic breathing, and we have to understand 3 types of breathing for that reason. There is clavicular breathing, thoracic breathing, and then diaphragmatic breathing. So what is clavicular breathing? Clavicular breathing is very shallow breath. When you take inhalation, it only involves your upper chest. This happens when you are tense or in anger. The second type of breathing is called thoracic breathing. This involves your chest region, where you take good amount of inhalation involving your thoracic region. When you take deep inhalation, normally you will involve pretty much of your lung capacity. Then you have the diaphragmatic breathing, where your breathing is deeper, reaching the lower part of your abdomen. Now, let us see what the poll results say. Give me a minute for that. So, some of you has mentioned that your abdomen is actually going in during the inhalation. So, most of you have felt that your abdomen is going in during the inhalation and abdomen is coming out during the exhalation, because that is very natural. When you go to a doctor's office and they ask you to take a deep inhalation, we normally involve our thoracic region, maximum capacity of our chest region, and then tucking the navel inside, right? This happens it's very naturally for most of us. But then we need to understand, in order to get the answer here, we need to understand what exactly happens here. Let me share a picture of a diaphragm where you can find out how this diaphragm works. Can you see the diaphragm here? It is the kind of a dome shaped muscle. When you inhale, what happens? The air enters through your trachea. When you inhale, the air enters through your trachea. So you have to visualize how it goes. When the air enters, it goes through the trachea and then it enters the lungs, where the lungs swells in all 6 directions, because the lungs has the capacity to swell in all 6 directions. As a result, it pushes the diaphragm downward. This pushes the abdominal organs out. During exhalation, the reverse happens. The abdomen goes in, the diaphragm regains its original position, pushing up all the residual carbon dioxide. It's totally coming out. Now, so the answer to the question is, when you are doing 100% breathing, the abdomen should come out. It may be challenging for some of you. To master this technique, I will give you a practice. Let's get into a comfortable seated position. You can just place one palm on your abdomen. You don't have to place one palm on your chest. Observe your breath. Nice long inhalation. Exhale deeply. One more. Inhale. Now on exhalation, pull the navel inside, contract the abdomen, lengthening your exhalation. Again inhale. Exhale, again pull the navel inside, contract the abdomen, lengthening your exhalation. One more, inhale. Exhale, pull the navel inside, contract the abdomen. So when you do this, automatically your abdomen will come out during the inhalation. You can notice that. Let's do this one more time. Inhale, chest expands, abdomen bulges out. Exhale, pull the navel inside, contract the abdomen, caving in your abdomen inside, expelling all the residual carbon dioxide from your lungs. Hope you are able to get a hang of it. This practice is something that you can do it either in the seated position or on the lying down position, lying down on your back with your knees bent. You can place the feet flat on the ground, and you can repeat the same practice where you can deliberately pull the navel inside during the exhalation part, kind of flattening your lumbar arch, and during the inhalation feel the chest expand and the abdomen come out naturally. Now for some of you it may be difficult. If you did not get a hang of it, say you still feel my abdomen is going in on the deep inhalation and it is not coming out, then I have another practice where you naturally could feel that your abdomen goes inside on exhalation and comes out during inhalation. That is nothing but using chanting as a tool to lengthen your breath. You can pick any chanting of your interest or even say any syllable. For today's practice, we are going to chant 3 syllables. The 3 syllables that form the sound Om, which is A, U and Im. So let's chant that, and you can employ this yogic breathing abdominal breathing naturally during the chant, because during the chanting you naturally pull the navel inside. While you are chanting the syllable, you will naturally pull the navel inside and contract the abdomen. And during inhalation, automatically the chest will expand and abdomen will bulge out. You can feel that now. Now we are going to do this as a practice. A separately 3 times, U 3 times and Im 3 times. And then the fourth set we will combine all the 3, A, U, Im, all the 3 in one exhalation. You can kind of like chant based on your comfort length. Let's get into comfortable seated position. Inhale now. You can feel the navel going inside. Inhale. Inhale. Now let's chant Om. When you chant each and every syllable of Om, A comes from the lower abdomen, U comes from the chest, and Im comes from anywhere. You can feel it from your neck to the top of the head. So feel that while you chant. Now let's chant Om. Inhale now. Inhale. Now let's chant the third syllable, Im. Inhale now. Inhale. Now we're going to chant A, U, Im, all 3 together in one exhalation. This will also help you to lengthen your exhale length. Let's start this now. You can divide between A, U and Im based on your comfort length. Inhale. Let's do this one more time. Inhale. Every time you chant, towards end of the chanting, you will naturally pull the navel inside and your abdomen will go inside. And during the inhalation, naturally the chest will expand, pushing the diaphragm downward, and the abdominal organ comes out. It's not that air getting into the abdomen. It is more the abdominal organs kind of jutting out, right? Now, let me share my screen again here. So you can see this process happening in this picture. During the inhalation, air goes in, and then you can see the diaphragm, it's a little bit of flattened, at that point, because the dome shaped diaphragm has been pushed down, and during exhalation it regains its original position, right? So this is exactly the principle in which yogic breathing works. Now look at this next picture. This shows that the pranic body extends about 12 inches of physical body. There are several Hatha Yoga texts which talks about this. There is this ancient Hatha Yoga text called Tirumandiram which talks about this, where the pranic body kind of extends 12 inches beyond our physical body. When you do diaphragmatic breathing, it triggers your parasympathetic nervous system that calms your mind, triggers the rest and digest response. In the next pranayama, we will see how this works. Nadi Shodhana pranayama. What are nadis? Nadis are channels that carries the prana. I told you this before. Nadis are channel that carries this prana. In the picture you can see that there are 72,000 nadis that spreads in your body, which carries the prana in your system. So when you are actually inhaling and when you are doing deep breathing, this prana moves into these nadis and it unblocks any obstruction that may be present in that system. So what we are actually doing is, during the pranayama practice, we are actually enhancing the prana and making it such that it is contained within our system, within 12 inches of this system. So this nadis, when you are say dissecting your body, will you be able to see it? No, because nadis are not in the physical body, but they are in the subtler body, which is the pranic body. This pranic body, as per Hatha Yoga text which I told you, which extends 12 inches away from your physical body. Let me share this image again. Yeah, so you see a kind of a glow around the body. This is where your pranic body extends around your physical body. Now, how impurities accumulate in our body, our nadis also accumulate impurities. So it is very important to cleanse this periodically for your prana, that is the vital energy, to move freely in your system. So that is when Nadi Shodhana pranayama comes into play. There are several benefits for Nadi Shodhana pranayama, in which I told you, it balances the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system. Sympathetic nervous system is called your fight or flight response, and parasympathetic response is called the rest and digest response. Now Tirumandiram, and then there is another text called Yoga Yajnavakya Samhita, talks about several nadis. As I told you, 72,000 nadis are in the system, but they talk about 3 important nadis in the system, which is called as Ida Nadi, Pingala Nadi, and then Sushumna Nadi. Ida Nadi is nothing but your moon energy, and then Pingala Nadi is the sun energy, which is nothing but your sympathetic nervous system. The Ida Nadi, the moon energy, is your parasympathetic nervous system. We need both of them to operate, to think, to act, to respond and perform all other activities. Nadi Shodhana has the capacity to bring that balance in our system. I have a detailed video on the Nadi Shodhana. Please watch that sometime later. Now we will get into the practice. Let's get into the Nadi Shodhana practice. Get into comfortable seated position. So for Nadi Shodhana, we will hold mudras in the hand. Left hand in chin mudra, connecting the thumb and the index finger. Right hand in Mrigi mudra, bend the index finger and the middle finger, something like this as you see in this picture, and the rest of the fingers are gently curved. Now you're going to place both the fingers initially on the sides of the nose, not to press it so that you will not be able to breathe, just place it on the sides of the nose. What you're going to do, you're going to press the right nostril completely with your thumb and inhale through the left nostril. Your finger is just placed here, like, kind of reducing the air passage a little bit, whichever side you're inhaling. But then don't, open it up completely. And then you will exhale through the other side. Let's start this now. Place the fingers on the nose. Now gently press the thumb on the right side. Inhale through the left. Now press the left side with your ring finger. Exhale through the right. Again inhale right. Exhale left. Let's repeat this couple of more times. Inhale left. Exhale right. Right inhale. Left exhale. Let's do this for a count. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3. Exhale left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Left inhale. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3. Right exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again right inhale. Left exhale. Left inhale. Exhale right. Relax. Now what we are going to do, we are going to introduce the Kumbhaka part. Kumbhaka is something but where you inhale hold. You will inhale deeply and then hold the breath and then exhale through the right nostril. And then again you will inhale through the right nostril, hold the breath and then exhale through the left nostril. So let's do this now. Sit comfortably. Again left hand in Chin Mudra, right hand in Mrigi Mudra. Place the fingers on the nostrils first. Close the right nostril completely. Inhale left. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3. Hold the breath. Just 2 seconds hold. Exhale right. Again inhale right. Hold the breath. Exhale left. Relax. Before we further go into the practice, I would like to give you a contraindication for the inhale hold. Longer inhale hold, that is the classical way of doing Kumbhaka, is 4 parts as that of your inhalation. Say if your inhalation is 3 seconds, you will hold for 12 seconds. If your inhalation is 4 seconds, you will hold for 16 seconds. But this classical Kumbhaka is a contraindication for people who are having high BP or any kind of heart condition. So you should completely avoid it. But if you are having your BP under control, what I am suggesting is you can do a very minimal inhale hold within that of your inhalation. Say if your inhalation is 4 seconds, you can hold for 2 seconds or like a pause, or even up to equal to that of your inhalation. It's okay, it's acceptable. And then you will continue the breathing. But at any point of time, if you think you're losing losing breath, or you're gasping for breath, then you should adjust your inhale hold capacity. Now let us understand what this inhale hold, that is the Kumbhaka, does to your body. It actually triggers your sympathetic nervous system. When you are very tired, when you are feeling lack of energy, then that's when you will use this inhale hold. At times when you are want to relax, then you can avoid the inhale hold completely. or you can have it like, very minimal. Either equal to that of inhalation will not trigger the sympathetic nervous system very high. It will just keep it under control and a balanced system. So you can kind of like, modify your practice based on how you feel. Mostly in the beginning, like, in the morning hours, like, when you are practicing Nadi Shodhana, it's best is to hold the inhale hold to a good amount of level. If you don't have any contraindication, you can hold it like, maybe twice that of your inhalation. Or if you have the capacity, if you have been practicing for several months, you can slowly build your capacity to thrice that of your inhalation. Today for the inhale hold practice, we will do 3 seconds inhalation and just 2 seconds hold, 5 seconds exhalation. Let's do this now. Again, left hand in Chin Mudra, right hand in Mrigi Mudra. Let go of all the breath. Place the fingers softly on the sides of the nose. Close the right side completely. Inhale through left. Hold the breath. Om 1, Om 2. Right exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right inhale. Hold the breath. Left exhale. Left inhale. Hold the breath. Right exhale. Right inhale. Hold the breath. Left exhale. Left inhale. Hold the breath. Right exhale. Right inhale. Hold. Left exhale. Left inhale. Hold. Right exhale completely. Relax. I have a practice sheet for you to go over, like, whatever we did so far. We did yogic breathing and then Nadi Shodhana. There is one question which I'm just noticing here. Sorry, several questions I'm not able to notice. I will certainly answer all those questions towards end of the video. Can we do after taking tea or coffee? So, good question. Best to practice pranayama in an empty stomach. So, early morning, right? But then, like, not every time, like, everybody will get time during that early hours. So make sure your abdomen is fairly empty. Never practice pranayama right after your meal. But the question is whether you can have a coffee or tea. When you take coffee or tea, basically, like, the caffeine kind of induces your parasympathetic nervous system, your sympathetic nervous system. You will be like, more energized. So if your purpose is to relax your body, not to have caffeine just right before the pranayama practice. But in general, any beverages, can it be consumed before the pranayama practice? If that is the question, yes, you can have it, but not right before the practice. Maybe like 45 minutes to an hour, or at least minimum half an hour, where you should not, like, have a kind of a full stomach. Then you are okay. All right. Now let me share the practice slide and we will take a small break where you will go over the practice. You can even take a screenshot. We went over all these things. We finished the poll question. This is kind of a reminder for you. We talked about the Ida and the Pingala, and now here is the practice sheet where, like, you can see there are two practice sheets here. You can take a screenshot. We will take a small break. You can stretch your legs or take a water break and come back in 1 minute. Welcome back. Now let us move to the next pranayama, Ujjayi pranayama. What does Ujjayi means? One that clears the throat and masters the chest. Jayi means victory. This breathing practice is also called the victorious breath. The victory is over mastering one's own breath. One who does Ujjayi has absolute control over one's breath with respect to the length of the breath and how subtly you can deliver the breath. Ujjayi pranayama focuses on the glottis region of your throat. You are able to control the length of the breath by constricting the glottis. Imagine a flow of water through a pipe, and if you want to control the amount of water, we add a valve to it, right? The valve closes a portion of the pipe and reduces the amount that flows in. Thereby, it takes a longer time to allow the same amount of water passing 2 points in the pipe. Same way, the valve here is the glottis in your throat region. It adds a small pressure and delivers the air slow and steady to the desired length. One has to constrict the glottis and control the amount and flow of breath that gets into or leaves the body. So here the glottis acts like a valve. As per Hatha Yoga Pratipika, ancient Hatha Yoga text, Ujjayi has to be done with the mouth closed, air drawn such that one feels a kind of a sonorous sound from throat to heart. As per another popular text called Yoga Rahasya by Nada Muni, Ujjayi is done smoothly through the nadi at the throat, in which a subtle sound passes from the throat. If you are completely new to Ujjayi breath, I am going to give you a preparatory practice now, and then we will move to Ujjayi. In the preparatory practice, we are going to have the mouth open. Let me stress the point here again. In Ujjayi, you have to keep your mouth closed. But to get there, to practice, we are going to start having the mouth open. Alright. Now all of you get into comfortable seated posture. So what you're going to do now, you're going to take a deep inhalation, and on exhalation, you're going to keep your mouth slightly open and then create a kind of a ha sound. So this is something similar to, you probably would have seen some kids fogging the mirror during rainy season when you have a glass wall. When you do kind of a ha sound against the wall or against the glass, it fogs up the mirror, correct? Very similar to that, but don't keep the mouth very open. Just bare minimally open in order to fog the mirror. Just visualize that. Let's start. Inhale. On exhalation with the mouth slightly open. You get it? Inhale. Now what you're going to do, you're going to slowly start closing this small opening of your mouth. You have kept it like, little bit open. Keep closing little by little. Continue. Inhale. You can feel the air throwing out. As you keep closing the mouth, you will feel that the air is throwing on the inner walls of the throat. Let's do this. Inhale. You will still also feel that sonorous sound from the throat. That indicates that you are getting towards Ujjayi. Inhale. Now what you're going to do, you're going to completely close the mouth and try to simulate the same effect. So it feels as if the entire air is throwing on the inner walls of the throat. But you will still hear that sound as if like somebody is sleeping sound sleep. Inhale. Are you doing this with the mouth closed completely now? Inhale. You're already doing Ujjayi right now. So what we are doing is Ujjayi exhalation. We will take up the Ujjayi inhalation in the next workshop, because Ujjayi inhalation comes with practice. What I want you to do is I want you to practice the Ujjayi exhalation for the next week completely, and then you prepare yourself for the Ujjayi inhalation. Ujjayi inhalation takes little more time for anybody to get a hang of it. Mostly Ujjayi exhalation, it's very easy for you to kind of absorb. So let's repeat this some more time. Now with the Kumbhaka part, we will inhale and then introduce a small hold and then exhale. Again, remember the contraindication for holding the breath. You may have to kind of adjust the ratio based on your comfort. Inhale now, a small hold, exhale Ujjayi. Inhale, a small hold, exhale Ujjayi. Inhale, small hold, exhale Ujjayi. Deliberately making that sound initially, it is fine till you master the practice. After a while, once you get a hang of it, you may not make deliberate sound. A neighbor sitting next to you will not be able to hear. Only you will be able to hear that sound. So what is the purpose of this Ujjayi? When you do Ujjayi pranayama, you are taking full control, like how you are controlling the water with a valve, right? I told you about this earlier, where you control the breath using the valve. Very similar to that, you will be able to control the breath. I'm trying to reach to that slide where we talked about water flowing in a pipe and then a valve controlling it. Here the glottis exactly works like a valve. So if I'm giving you a ratio of about 8 seconds exhalation, you will be able to control this valve and exhale for 8 seconds. If I'm giving you a ratio of 6 inhale and 12 seconds exhalation, you will still be able to do it. If I'm just saying 4 seconds exhalation, you will also be able to do that, because the valve is in your control. So learning this technique will kind of take control over your breath. That is why it is called as victorious breath, because victory over one's own breath, right? So there are several benefits for this Ujjayi pranayama. It kind of first thing, it calms the system. That is always there in all the most of the pranayamas. Very few component and very few attributes of the pranayama will kind of energize you. That is called as Brahmana practice. There are certain practices in yoga which is called Brahmana, which actually energizes you. Like for example, in asana, Surya Namaskar practices which calms you down. Apart from that, Ujjayi kind of massages your your trachea. The air going with the force into the trachea kind of opens your bronchioles and the finer tubes into your lungs and improve your lung capacity. There are tremendous benefit, and it also helps regularizing your internal chemicals and internal secretions in your body for the functioning of your internal organs very well. So one has to certainly for sure learn this technique. It is very, very beneficial and it will be very, very helpful. Now let's go to the next pranayama, Sheetali pranayama. Sheet means to cool. So Sheetali pranayama is to cool your body, cool your system. So there are not many contraindications for the Sheetali pranayama, unless if you are having a cold or a cough, if you are cooling your body further, then that will inhibit your capacity to fight the infection. The necessary heat that is needed in your body will be inhibited, right? So in that case, Sheetali can be combined with Ujjayi breathing and you can still get the benefit. Alright. So Sheetali is done by fluting the tongue and inhaling through the fluted tongue. Let's show you how. On inhalation, you're going to flute the tongue like this and inhale through the fluted tongue. Let's try this now together. Inhale, flute the tongue. So I will tell you, there is quite a number of people who will not be able to flute the tongue. In a class of 10, I normally see 2 to 3 people who are not able to flute the tongue. Even more sometimes. So what you can do is you can purse your mouth like this and inhale as if you're using a straw. Place the tongue exactly at the passage where the air enters to direct the cool air into your system. Right? So this is only for those who are not able to flute the tongue. If you are able to flute the tongue, you can continue with the classical way like this. If you are not able to do, then you purse your mouth and inhale through the pursed mouth. Okay, so this is Sheetali Pranayama. In Hatha Yoga Pratipika, there are several benefits they talk about regarding the Sheetali Pranayama. First and foremost, it cools your body. And amazingly, it controls your thirst and hunger. So if you are into dieting, or if you are doing some kind of a fasting, if you are having the craving towards food, then practicing Sheetali Pranayamas as several rounds, say 12 to 15 rounds, that will kind of curtail your craving towards food, because you will feel satiated. You won't feel that craving towards food. So that is one benefit. And another benefit they talk about in Hatha Yoga Pratipika is your skin shines. I don't know how the skin shines with this pranayama. Probably I'm thinking maybe it releases all the toxins from the body. So naturally your skin shines out of Sheetali. There is also another pranayama called Sheetkari Pranayama, where you you will clench the teeth and inhale. We will take that up in the next workshop, which is coming up next Sunday. Today now we will get into the Sheetali practice now. I am going to combine another pranayama, Brahmari Pranayama, along with the Sheetali. So on inhalation you will flute the tongue, gently lift your head up, and on exhalation you will do a humming bee sound, like how you did in the initial part of the workshop where we did A, U, Im chanting, right? Like that. In that, the Im is nothing but the Brahmari Pranayama. Brahmari Pranayama kind of calms you down, prepares you for meditation. The reason because it stimulates your vagus nerve and it calms the system. I have a detailed video on Brahmari Pranayama. I will put all the links for the other pranayama where I talk a lot about theory, how to do it, everything in the description here. I haven't added those links as of now. I will add it probably in a while today before end of the day. You can watch those exclusive videos on how to do these practices. Now let's do this now. We are going to add a small neck movement now to this pranayama. On inhalation, you will first start with chin down towards the chest. Flute your tongue. Inhale through the fluted tongue. Keep your eyes closed. I am keeping my eyes open. Exhale, Brahmari. Inhale Sheetali, flute your tongue, lift your head up slightly. No need to hyperextend like this, just simple neck movement. Chin is going slightly up to an angle. Exhale as you bring the chin down towards the chest. We're going to repeat this few more rounds. Inhale. 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 Relax. So how do you feel now? So you probably be more relaxed when you do the Brahmari Pranayama. So each and every Pranayama has got its own benefit. When you are more tensed, when you want to calm your body, calm your system, use the Brahmari Pranayama. When you feel very heat in your body, when you are fired up, you've been working throughout, you've been running around, then use the Sheetali combination, because that kinds of cools your body. When you want to have a balance in the system, you need to have the parasympathetic nervous system. At the same time, you need to have your sympathetic nervous system, because you need to work on your day-to-day works and you need to do activities. Then you start the day with the Nadi Shodhana Pranayama, where a kind of a balance is required. And Ujjayi is for your overall health. It helps your internal organ, it helps your digestive system, all those things. Some days when you are not having proper digestion, sit for several rounds of Ujjayi. You will be learning Ujjayi inhalation also shortly. So you will combine both inhale Ujjayi and the exhalation Ujjayi. And then there are also several variations that we are going to talk about in the next workshop. But all those things can be done when you feel you're having a clumsy or very your stomach is bloated. Then at that time you can practice Ujjayi. If you just want to simply relax, lie down on your back with the knees bent, just do abdominal breathing. That will completely relax your body and also works on your internal system. There are a lot of benefits also with simple yogic breathing. So hope this would have given you a good foundation to start your pranayama journey. I have 4 slides, 4 practice sheets for you. I will put that in the description box below. Maybe earlier slide, you were not able to take a screenshot of that. I will post that in the description box. So this is, I told you, this is a 2-part workshop, and the second part will be conducted on the next Sunday. We will be diving deeper into the Ujjayi inhalation techniques and the variations, and a quick intro to bandhas. Bandhas is a very important concept you should know. If you found this valuable, consider subscribing to my channel and share it with others. Until then, keep breathing mindfully, and I will see you on the next section. Thank you. Let me check the comments here for a few minutes. So there are some technical difficulties that as I have gone through here. Reason is I'm using a software to share the slides. It's not direct live stream. So this is the first time I'm doing it, and there are certain difficulties I'm facing with that. Hopefully I will fix all those things in the next workshop. So there is one comment. I feel my body sort of heating up subtly when within these pranayama, except Sheetali. So body heating, Ujjayi certainly will heat up the body. So if you are already feeling hot, then Sheetali is the best thing, as you rightly said, except. But Nadi Shodhana will not normally heat up the body unless you have that inhale hold parameter a little longer than what your comfortable length. So that is why I always give the exhalation little longer than the inhalation to relax your body. So try that with 3 seconds inhalation and 6 seconds exhalation, then that will relax your body. Another question, can you recommend what time to practice these various pranayama and how many rounds? So time is up to you. You should make time. Best is to do it early in the morning when you are empty stomach, that is before breakfast, after you empty your bowels before breakfast. If you don't have time, then you can again do it in the evening also. As per Hatha Yoga Pratipika, they say you have to practice Nadi Shodhana, especially Nadi Shodhana, to cleanse the nadis at least 4 times a day. The morning, meals, afternoon, but that is like too much, doing 4 times. But you can do it up to 3 times, right? When before breakfast, before lunch, and this is when you are very serious about pranayama and totally dedicated. But then for general health and well-being, once or twice a day is also fine. Okay, when you do, make sure you build your capacity to do minimum of 12 rounds. Eventually you can increase it to 2 or 3 sets. One set 12 rounds. So left inhale, right exhale, and then right inhale, left exhale is 1 round. Like that you will do 12 rounds. So all the other pranayamas can also be done 12 rounds. Another question, feeling good after the session, sure to attend the next session, of course, looking forward to it. I'm used to do yoga, but still your teaching are very helpful. You mentioned a book when you showed a picture of the pranic body. Can you say the name? Okay, so the book I refer for pranayama practices is Hatha Yoga Pratipika. It is written by Swatma Rama, and it's a 15th century text. There are other Hatha Yoga texts as well. Tirumandiram is one Hatha Yoga text. It's a Tamil text. It's very complicated, and there are about 3000 plus verses in that. They totally cover entirely. It's very hard to kind of easily understand, because it's a very deeper subject. But then Hatha Yoga Pratipika, you get some good translation in English. There is Bigar Yoga School has given translation in English, and there are Adayar publication, Swatma Rama book actually. It's also Jyotsna commentary. That also gives good explanation. So all the pranayama practices comes from the Hatha Yoga Pratipika. When it comes to philosophy and Yoga Sutras, that comes from the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, and there are several books for that. I will put all those books references in the description here. And let me go into other questions. So people feel that it's very informative, very well explained. Thank you for all the people who have, I don't know if I've missed